is another character that I never spoke about up until now for no other reason than keeping suspense and having fun. So I can finally talk about them. Here is Lux. Hello and welcome back to my channel. I hope you're doing well. Never thought I would see the day, but we are at the last video of this series. It's crazy. I talked about before how I'm going to be doing like a 2.0 version of this series, but I'm gonna let this series just sit for a little bit because this just took me like 2 years. The first OC video I made was Andy, which was literally like 2 years ago or whatever. Anyways, this is Lux. This is the final character in not only in the series, but also of this story that I've been talking about. If you're a little behind on this, I would suggest going and watching the other character videos first, because I'm going to be speaking in this video as if you had seen those ones. It starts with Delaney and then everything after that. So I'll leave those linked in the iCard if you missed out on those. A couple other things before we really get started. I don't know exactly when I'm going to be doing the 2.0 series. I have a little mini series sort of lined up. It was when I was painting my pets on a canvas. I'm going to paint my other 3 pets, so that's just 3 videos. But after that, I don't know if I'm going to be doing the 2.0 series right away, because then I would be in the new year. I don't know if that would be too soon after this one. But you guys let me know. And if you have any other series that you want me to try out and maybe do monthly, then feel free to comment them down below. Another fun little thing, I thought it would be pretty neat if I made character playlists of songs that I think suit each of the main characters of this series. I will eventually want to have playlists for all of my characters, but that's going to take a long ass time because I have a whole bunch of characters. But I'm going to be starting with these webcomic characters. So Delaney, Lo, Noe, Alice, and Lux will have a Spotify playlist linked in the description below. They're just full of songs that I think suit them, or like their sort of character development, and like I guess it's kind of out of context spoilers for my characters, so have fun listening to those and applying them to the characters. I'm getting ahead of myself. Wait until the end of this video to listen to those. I feel like this is the longest intro I've had in a character video, so let's jump right into it. Here is Lux. Their full name is Lux Della Rosa. They are 18 years old, they are non-binary, and also a human, and they are an ambivert. Generally, Lux tends to be very calm and collected. They're a pretty chill person, I guess. Although that being said, they can be somewhat stubborn at times. For the most part, again, they're chill. And if you ask them to do something, then they'll do it. They're more of like a follower type than a leader type. But if something happens where they firmly believe one thing, then they will fight you until they die about it. It doesn't happen super often, but it is a thing that occurs. Lux tends to be the type of person who tackles situations head on. They're very much like a act first, think later type of person, which is sometimes a good thing, sometimes a bad thing. It really depends on the situation, but it definitely is something that gets them into more trouble than other people would like. It's definitely always with good intentions, but is headstrong the right word? I don't know. I also don't want to say reckless. I mean, sometimes, I guess. I don't know. Are those right words to describe it? They can jump into situations without really thinking about it. It's usually because they think it's the right thing to do, but sometimes it's not. I guess you can say they don't really let their hair down super often. So we have characters like Delaney, for example. He's very extravagant, I think is a nicer way to put it than an extra shit asshole, how I often describe him. We have characters like Delaney who are just a little more over the top and a little more out there, I guess. And even characters like Alice, even if she isn't as out there as Delaney, there are times where she can be a little bit playful and kind of joke around. Lux isn't really like that. They very rarely let themselves relax enough to ever get to that point. And so whenever there is any sort of atmosphere that's like that, they just get really awkward. So yeah, they are for the most part trying to keep up a very strict image of being this like tough warrior who is down to always fight, but really they're just kind of a dork. So the general personality of Lux, a quick recap of the story. Again, if you are new here and you didn't listen to me earlier, you can go watch the other characters' videos because I'm going to give a brief recap of the story here, but I do go more in depth of the story in Delaney's video, so if you want just a little bit more background information, now is your last chance, go watch another video, and then come back to this one. So within this world, there are humans and there are beasts. I think a lot of people are confused as to like what I mean by that. So people sometimes ask questions of like what happens if like a human sees a beast, but like that happens every day. It's not like they live on like two opposite sides of the world. It's like they live mixed together in society. It's just that depending on where you are, some places are more in favor of beasts, some places are more in favor of humans, some places have pretty equal treatment. It just really depends, but they do like live together. So I thought I'd clear that up. But there are beasts and humans in his world, and then Delaney, who is the Prince of Beasts, his father, so the King of Beasts, has plans to like kind of genocide on all humans, I guess. I mean, not I guess, that's legit what it is. But then Delaney and the main cast are like, hey, how about we don't do that? I think that'd be a great idea. And so their whole goal is to stop him from doing that and to help bring beasts and humans together in the world. So, how does Lux fit into all of this? Like I said, they are the type of person who often follows somebody else's lead, and since they are also more of like a fighter and a warrior type character, they tend to follow Lo's lead a lot. Again, there are exceptions to that where if they strongly believe one way, so like if they disagree with Lo on something very strongly, then they will not. But for the most part, they tend to just follow Lo's lead, which Lo doesn't really like because he hates everyone. Out of all of the 5 main characters, Lux is the last one to join the group. I talked about it before, I don't remember, I think it was in Lo's video, but Delaney and Lo are already sort of traveling together before the course of the story begins. And so you're kind of introduced to the world with them. And then in the first chapter, Noe and Alice join. But then in the second chapter is actually when Lux comes in. So they come in just a little bit later than the rest of the main cast. And that's because Lux was kind of like fighting for a similar cause, I guess, but on a much smaller scale. It was more within the area that they lived. They were a part, I don't want to say too much, but don't worry, it'll come soon, guys. But they were just a part of a small group, kind of similar to the main cast, where they were fighting for the same goals, but just within the city that they lived in. Because of that, they have a little bit more experience than the rest of the main cast, I guess. As a result, they do tend to be on the front lines a lot. I mean, I guess all the main cast kind of is on the front lines. I should learn how to speak if I'm gonna have a YouTube channel. I should be quite honest there. But out of all of the main cast, they do tend to be a little more like ready to go, I guess. I don't know, I don't really know how to phrase it because, again, I should learn how to speak, but hopefully you know what I mean. But again, because of their past experiences and what they were doing, sort of holy shit, what is wrong with me right now? Because of what they were doing before the course of the story begins. That's also a big reason why they're dedicated to helping Delaney, because they were pretty much already doing that before the story started. Similar to Alice, Lux tries to be a little bit of a mediator between Lo and Delaney, but unlike Alice, it doesn't normally work out. I wouldn't say that Lux is particularly short-tempered, but they're definitely a lot more short-tempered than Alice, and so even if Lux tries, usually Lo will say something that gets under their skin and then they get a little angry, but you know, they try. And yeah, they're kind of like, they're the second youngest of the group. Noe's a literal child, and then Lux is 18. And so I guess they're kind of seen as like another little sibling of the group, even though they're only 2 years younger than Alice. It's just still kind of how they're treated and how they feel a lot of the time. Not really like in a way that looks down on them, but more of just a baby kind of way, although don't tell them that. We'll hate it. But yeah, I think that's about all I can say for Lux right now. I'm really curious and excited to see what you guys think of them because I haven't talked about them. This video is the first time I've said their name in a video, and really the main reason is just for fun, so sorry about that. But when I made the post about this video on Instagram, a lot of people were really excited and said that they liked them for a really long time, so that's fun. I know you don't know a lot about their personality. You know a lot less about them than you do any other character on my channel, I think, but I hope that you're excited. Anyways, Time for the question part. I don't know why my brain is all over the place in this video, I'm so sorry. As always, if you are new here, I make a post every single month on my Instagram page of the monthly character, and then in the comment section of that video, you ask any question that you have about them, and then after 24 hours, I take the post down, and then I answer the most popular questions or questions I think are interesting in this video. The three main questions, the traditional ones. They don't have a birthday or a zodiac sign. As always, feel free to comment down any suggestions. Since these are my webcomic characters, I should probably give them birthdays. Angie's group is the only one that has birthdays, but it's fine. Do they prefer ice cream cake or cookie cake? They prefer cheesecake. I don't like cheesecake, but... And lastly, use a vine to describe them.
So basically, what I was thinking of was, oh fuck, I can't believe you've done this.
Moving on from those, by far the most asked question about LUX. Why do they wear bandages? Do they wear them for any sort of purpose? Is it just for the aesthetics? Some people asked if it was to ward off the Rona. There is no Rona in this universe, so no to that, but if they were in our world, then probably. Long story short, it's a big spoiler for the story. I will say they do wear it for a reason, but I can't really say why. But there is a purpose. It's not just because they're edgy. I mean, they are, but it's not just because they're edgy. There's a purpose for it. Where's their favorite place to go when they're upset? Anywhere that's dark and away from people. So like going in a room with the lights off and the windows closed and curtains closed under a blanket. They just like to be alone whenever they're upset. They're fairly decent at controlling their anger and their emotions, but you know, we all have those days. How do they feel about being called a baby? Because they look like a baby. They don't like it. I mean, I've called them baby already in this video, so don't feel like you can't, but they definitely wouldn't like it. Again, trying to keep up a very tough image. They're just a little bit of a dork, so it doesn't always work out. Are they a dog person or a cat person? I've also seen people say other animals like a ferret or a spider, or just what kind of pet would they have? I haven't actually thought about pets in this universe because of like how beasts are. I don't know how animals work. I probably should have thought about that before writing most of the comic, but if they did have a pet, they would definitely have a cat. They are much more of a cat person. If they were in our world, I can really imagine them having either a black cat or a Siamese cat. I don't think they would have a spider, but definitely a ferret. I can also see them having that, but absolutely a cat person. Do their belts serve a purpose? Yes, it actually, so there's the part of the belt that goes around their waist, and then there's the two belts kind of hanging off of that. It actually holds a sword and throwing knives. There's one on each. I don't ever draw it because that's a lot. But you guys will see it in the comic. That's just where those are held. Have they ever had long hair, and have they ever considered growing their hair out? Yes and yes. I can't really say why they did used to have long hair, but it's shorter now for reasons. It wasn't really a choice that they cut it short, but they definitely want to grow it out again. It wasn't super long, it was like just above their shoulder, but they would like to grow it out to that length again, maybe a little longer. They feel comfortable with hugs, and can I hug them? By the way, so many of the comments were about you guys being in love with LUX. There are so many comments of like, can I hug them? Can I kiss them? Can I marry them? And oh my god. I mean, it's not really a bad thing, just I wasn't expecting it. They are okay with hugs from a very select few people. As a general note, no, they do not like hugs. There are a few people that they like hugs from, but even then they're very awkward about it. What is their biggest fear? I tried putting it into like a sentence in my script that I have for this video. I couldn't really, so let me try and put it in my thought. I'm so sorry for the way my brain is functioning in this video. I'm going to try to put it into words, but from the sound of it, it's not going to go well. Doing nothing, or like not being able to do anything. They dive into situations head first, right? They're very much a hands-on type of person, and it's not necessarily the doing nothing that they're afraid of. It's more of just being forced to do nothing or having a situation where they're helpless and they can't do anything. What was their first impression of the group? They thought that they were very strange, which, I mean, can you really blame them? They definitely thought that they were a very odd group. Not necessarily a bad thing, just odd. Are they in a relationship? Okay. It's something I've teased about here and there on my Instagram. Yes, they are dating somebody. No, it's not any of the main characters. It's not a character that you've seen, and it's not a character that you will see until the comic is released. But they are in a relationship. So, we did it. There are characters that are dating, guys. We did it. Do they like traditional or Japanese cheesecake? So earlier when I said that they prefer cheesecake, that I picked that before I read the question, so I didn't know this was gonna be in here. They like both, but they prefer the Japanese. They prefer the Japanese style of cheesecake. How long have I had? Fucking hell! What is wrong with me? How long have I? How long have they had their bandages? Have they worn them since they were a kid? They actually haven't been wearing the bandages for too long. They have been wearing them since before the start of the story, but it's not for, well, it's not for a super long time. How can they keep calm with a mute child, her caretaker, an angry werewolf man, and a snarky vampire prince? It's definitely a test of patience every single day for Lux. For the most part, they manage okay. I'm not going to say it's all the time, but they try their best. What's their biggest insecurity? It's their bandages, it's a very prominent part of their appearance, and it's not something that they're super happy about. Again, the bandages aren't just for the aesthetic, it's for a purpose. And Lux doesn't like them, but there's nothing they can really do about it. So, and lastly, did they remove their bandages to eat or drink? Yes, but they always do so away from people. As self-conscious as they are about the bandages, they also don't really want people to see them without them. So, it's kind of a lose-lose. Poor Lux. And those are all the questions that I have for you guys. You guys had a lot of fun questions for Lux, even though half of them were either about their bandages or you guys wanting to marry them. But I hope that you enjoyed Lux. And that's about all I have for you about them and about the story. Let me know what you think. Feel free to check out those Spotify playlists that will be linked in the description box below. I think it's a really fun way to get to know characters, or even if you don't care about my characters and you just want a playlist to listen to, those are there. I'm excited for you guys to listen to them and what you think of them and how you guys are going to apply the songs to the characters. It's a fun time. So those will be in the description box below, and this is it. The last OC video, at least for a little while. Again, I don't know when I'm going to be picking it back up again, but it'll happen at some point. But for a while, this is the last OC video, and it feels weird to say that. So if you liked this video, or if you like this character, or my stories, feel free to give this video a thumbs up. I would really, really appreciate it, and let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. And if you are new here, hello, I am Oliver. I post a new video every single Wednesday, and bonus videos whenever I can. I love sharing my art with people. I love sharing my stories and my characters, so if you could subscribe, I would really, really appreciate it. And you can also follow me on social media, which will be on screen now and linked in the description box below. Following me on Instagram would be the best place to follow me. That is where I post about my characters and get you guys involved in the videos, like in this one and also other videos. Go over there. And there will also be some videos on screen now and linked in the iCard for you to check out if you want. I'd really, really appreciate it. Thank you so much for watching, and I will hopefully see you next week. Bye.